And welcome. Finally, after some technical issues, headphone actually not working, so getting no mic input for quite some time. So after several restarts, we are live, and hopefully it continues to do so. So we are into tonight's round is round 4 of the Pagnian Imports Super 2 series, and drivers currently over in the practice session already. They'll be almost getting close to get into the qualifying session, so we'll cover over through the details very quickly so we can head over to all the racing action. Tonight's session, in there they've got the 10 minutes practice, weather is partly cloudy. They've got 10 minutes of qualifying, weather is also partly cloudy, and the race is 40 minutes. And the cars are capped at 47% fuel, so it will require the drivers to come in and grab some fuel to actually complete the race. And in the standings, we have Aiden Ford leading the championship by only 20 points, just ahead of Steve Denby. Last week we were at Oran Park Raceway with Aiden Ford qualifying 4th and taking the victory, and then having Steve Denby take bonus points in the fastest lap, securing an extra 10 points. So very crucial with that bonus 10 points to ensure he was sticking up very tight behind Aiden for the championship lead. So jump over onto the track now. Working. Hopefully no more dramas going on with the stream. It's quite frustrating when all mic and everything is working in Discord and everything just before loading into the session, and then everything goes wrong. So we've got a minute 25 remaining of the practice session. I'll bring up some details. Looks like Steve Denby currently with the quickest time out there in the practice session. We currently got 17 drivers out on track. Looks like a couple more loading in. Steve Denby leading the way. Getting right up on that 2 wheels as he gets around that curve. He's set a 1:24.583, so a very tidy time. This track even more unforgiving than Longbeck Street Circuit. And there's plenty of banks and scrapes throughout the round 2's round with Long Beach Street Circuit. Chicago's a little bit more trickier. A lot of the corners are very much misleading with getting around them. It is almost the figure 8 pattern. Brett Andrews second quickest out there. Set a 1:24.464. Steve Denby just setting braking in as well with 1:24.318. That's the practice session complete, so we'll be heading over into qualifying in a moment. A few drivers still out on track. Heading forward, parking the car up, ready to hit that ready button to head into the next session, and then we'll see them all load in. Few drivers trying to make as much track time as they can. When you do join us for the stream, if you haven't done so yet, don't forget to hit that follow button. Do let us know if it's looking pretty flash. It's the first time we've gone full HD for the stream, so it's going to look much tidier once we actually do copy the stream across onto YouTube. So we have only been covering it in 720p, so 1080p is going to look fantastic. And don't forget there's a bunch of sound controls underneath the stream. You can play all these different sound effects over the stream, so you can cheer, applaud, some other funny things. Really scraping that last corner, making it very tight. Last time we were here at Chicago Street Circuit, we were doing it in the Formula V's. And we did have a go at doing race control to all drivers currently parked up while the session waits to load over. The session does go a little bit quicker once all drivers have actually exited out of the car. So if they're in their Tinkeroo settings, there is actually a countdown for them to finalise details before it loads into the next session. So like, that's one driver remaining, Matt Hardigan. And there it goes, so it's crossed over now. Drivers will now have 10 minutes. Actually, we probably just that was qualifying actually. Yes, that is gridding. So that is actually qualifying standings. It's unfortunately missing the practice and most of the qualifying with the tech issues. Few drivers hit that ready button before the 1 minute countdown. Otherwise they will be starting from the pit lane. Looks like we've got a pretty good view to start the race out. So unfortunately not able to jump on board for a lap around in the practice sessions. We'll try and jump on board with some of the drivers. Drivers did just jump back out. They was about to go green. Just waiting on Aaron Maguire and Blake Urquhart. Blake Urquhart back in after missing a couple of rounds. He'd been on the night shifts for a while and unable to make it, so good to see him back on track. Here we are, all drivers hit that ready button. We're about to see the lights go green for round 4.
Green flag, green flag.
And green flag is waved. Pretty tidy start. Look at, I think that's where Stephen Banks darting up through the inside. He got a very quick launch. Greg Salon really tidy, getting away very quickly, starting to put some distance over Steve Denby already. Slippery with Steve Denby. There's been a little bit of a hit on the wall back. Not sure if there's been a spin. I think they managed to get through him. There's been a wall scrape, making it very fine on those corners. Drivers will need to play caution. There's over a course of a 40-minute race. The drivers do only accrue 17 incident points. Can result depending on how hard it is, times 4 or times 1. Once they reach 17, they will have to come in for a drive-through penalty. There's racing going on. Colin Dixter and Aiden Ford starting to close the gap in on each other. So we go 2, 3 and 4. And the shiny blue and pink cars, I think it's Kingston Racing, I think it is on the side of it. Aiden Ford hanging very tight, looking to take on these guys. He's going to have a nice slipstream coming down the straight. So now onto the back straight. Battle going on with Sebastian Vandel, Blake Urquhart and Robbie Bradbury. I think that's just been a crash. Aiden Ford has misjudged that corner. Went straight out into the wall. Here's several cars also scraping that wall. So unfortunately he's now having to re-enter Alonso back in at position 10. Hopefully damage won't be too dire and he can make that car stay out on track for a little bit longer. Justin Haley acquiring a tow. We have Greg Salon still leading the race. He's gotten off to a lovely start. 2 laps down and he's now got 2.1 seconds over Steve Demby. Seems to be really pulling away. Just a bit of a gap between 4th and 5th now that Adrian has a little incident. Can Adrian start to hone down? He's got a nice little safety net between himself and Stephen Banks. He's got about 4 seconds between himself and position 6. Sebastian and Blake all still battling it out for 7th position. Maiden has actually gone into the pits. The drivers doing fast repairs. A little bit of wall scrape by Blake as he was going out onto that line. A lot of oversteer for Robbie, costing him a little bit of time. Greg absolutely flying out ahead now. There's not too many passing opportunities on this track. Here's Blake committing to turning in early on that corner, try and get him, oh, it's a double pass with Sebastian also getting the move on Robbie. He didn't carry as much speed, but he still managed to be able to hold that track position. That was a spectacular pass between those two. Both of them slingshotting around. Greg Slom still out in the lead. I think it's starting to close down in on Brett Andrews. It almost looked like he was going to make some more contact to that. Yeah, Phil, it is a very tight track. So it'll definitely take its toll on the tyres around this track. They're very, very tight corners. You can see the cars lifting up a fair bit. So it's going to be really scrubbing on those outside tyres. Now 3.1 second lead, lap 4. Tigger, so we'll see what he's driving. Cesario currently dealing with a fair bit of damage to that front end of the car. Sorry, that's Sebastian. Sebastian's taken damage. Let's see just how close these cars are getting to that wall before the turning, just so they can actually make that perfect line through the apex. Robbie's managed to get back around. Oh no, sorry, that's Stephen Banks just up ahead of him. He is quickly catching up. Moments before, just the lap we had him and Sebastian passing Robbie. You can just see down the back of that straight. He's now looking to take on Stephen Banks. Track. Just how narrow some of the sections are. Staying with Blake Urquhart as he's trying to hunt down Stephen Banks. Stephen seemed to be able to pull away through most of that sector. And then towards the back end, Blake started to close in. Had Greg Salon. Not sure if he managed to have a damage at all. See that he's gone off track. Taking a little hit. Seeing no stats to see that there was an incident at all. He's in and used a fast repair, so there's only a 10.6 second pit stop. So that means Steve Denby takes the lead. Several drivers having been in have some repairs done. Aiden Ford, Sebastian Varndale, Tony Phillips and Justin Haley being in for some repairs, and Matt Hardigan. Looks like he's just taken a hit and he's just towed the car. We have Steve, Brett and Connor all leading the race at this point. Aiden Simpson's still trying to close that gap in. He's 9 seconds away. He's putting some distance with Stephen Banks and Blake both battling it out, and there's a little bit of blinking going on. Some lag issues for Stephen. If that is noticeable to Blake, as that's definitely going to play as part of his passing manoeuvre. So the car's positions could very well be in much different locations to what they're seeing. Let's see, little tyre scrub from Blake as he goes around the corner. Straight from Blake. Giving Stephen much of a break here. He's sticking it right in his mirror. Oh, big wall hit. That could be costly. And if we see multiple hits like that, it could very well be causing some suspension damage to the cars. Which would have been what we saw happen with Greg having to pit in after leading the race. So Greg currently in 8th position and making his way up. Bruce Robertson just making himself into the pits as well. Side of Stephen Banks' car. Seeing how close. Almost goes for an inside maneuver. There's no room there. That did put him off pace slightly. Let's see where Stephen really starts to pull away. Down underneath the gearbox. Slide by Blake. He's carrying a heap of new corner speed. He's missing that front left quarter panel as well. But he did on the right side as well. Missing the back bar potentially. I think he maybe he's missing that right hand side of the car. Still appears to be driving okay. Going to have to probably just hang on to the car at this stage. It's not going to work bringing it to the pits, especially if he's still managing to keep pace with Stephen Banks at this stage. Can make that car last out a tad while longer. Usually see that drivers can get to just just over halfway point with the fuel load. We have Steve Denby leading the race. Now on lap 8, he's led for 4 laps. Greg leading for the first 4. Brett Andrews currently in 2nd position. Tom Nixon in 3rd. Adrian Simpson is running in 4th position. Starting to drop away from the race lead. And he'll have Stephen Banks and Blake both coming after him very quickly. They seem to be closing in quite quick. A little bit off the pace with Adrian's fastest lap being, or previous lap, sorry, a 1:26. Both Blake and Stephen 1:27. So Blake in this tail end coming through the final corner as we did the previous lap. Smoke come up, slides out. This is probably a little bit of downforce issues going on with the car. It's definitely going to be scrubbing out that side. Ooh, is he going to commit to a pass here? It's going to be a risky one if he does. See heaps of tyre tread all over that corner. Ooh, he blinks out as well. Loses a position by blinking. I actually saw him drop down into 6th position. Rex Long slowly making his way back up. Unfortunately, pitting early means he's probably going to have to pit in again to be able to get fuel to finish the course of the race. The Holden VF Commodore with Steve Denby. Some lap traffic now. Getting some brilliant lines. Close he gets to those corner walls. A slight bit over and then will be some more contact. Pretty nice laps. Last lap was 1:25.641 I think it was, so that's 1:25.891. Chasing down Aiden Ford. He's got 20 points to catch up in the championship standings. Aiden's currently running in 8th position. The back markers starting to approach. For some slowing down. That's going to allow Brett and Connor both close in on Steve, because there's not too many opportunities to try and get around, so it's going to have to be nicely timed. Any offline manoeuvres could prove to be quite risky. Stephen Banks appears to have taken some damage. Didn't end up getting around. I think he's got some critical damage going on with the car. I think he's just blown the engine in that. Not sure what might have happened to have caused that, but he's definitely towing the car in. We might rewind, just see what was going on. How far we have to go back to see what sort of makes some wall contact there. I think he goes into a spin. Yes, he touched that tail in. I think he's damaged the radiator and it's actually blown the engine. So that's required him a tow. That's cost him dramatically for the race. So we still have to Steve Denby leading. Approaching Bruce Robinson, who's currently holding position 11, that is. Sebastian Barndale currently in 10th position. Blake Urquhart in 9th. Not sure if there was a little bit of a tap there with him and himself. They were racing for position. Oh, and he's misjudged that corner. That's some critical damage. That's a solid hit to that engine. It's probably going to need a tow as well. And in goes the car. So Steve Denby, Brett Andrews and Connor Nixon all pitting in. So just below the halfway point. Also Adrian Simpson, Greg Slon having pit in earlier to tend to that damage. This could be his opportunity to try and really push ahead now. So he takes back the race lead. Most likely he's not going to have enough fuel to go on the last out. So he should be able to get another 10 minutes worth of fuel in. So he did only pit on lap 4. So it wasn't enough time to be able to splash in some fuel, because it's still only restricted to that 47%. Brett Andrews exits out into position 2. So taking the lead, having a little bit quicker of a pit stop. He's 0.2 quicker in the pits than Steve Denby was. Brett having a 21.1 second pit stop. Steve Denby a 21.3. Not sure whose hit that was. See the car number. I think that's Callan. It's a pretty solid hit that's taken some pretty significant damage to that front right steering. It's not wanting to steer straight at all. That's going to be a trip down pit lane for sure. Greg Sloan coming in for some fuel now. It's going to allow Brett Andrews to take the lead of the race. So he should be loaded up with enough fuel to last out. Hey, cool boy, thanks for joining us. I'm good, how are you? Places you that are just joining us, don't forget to hit that follow button. Do appreciate seeing that follower count climbing up. It's great to support Great Peaks eSports League and all our drivers. We do go live with iRacing on Monday night, 7:30 PM. And then we've also got round 4 on Project Cars 2 this week, some more V8 action. So you can see the FG Falcons drilling it out around Dubai Autodrome. It's kind of Nixon getting around some lapsed traffic. The drivers doing very well, actually reducing that race pace, moving offline to let the faster drivers through. So well done there, great sportsmanship. Denby currently in 4th position. He's got Aiden Ford. He's chasing down on the championship standings. He's only got a 20-point lead. Aiden currently, since I did actually miss out on the qualifying, I did think it was Aiden Ford. Actually, it was Steve Denby that took the pole position. Steering 25 qualified points. There are championship points available for qualifying positions, so it is critical to their standings come the end of the round. And then with the fastest lap bonus points, there's an extra 10 points. Between the two, but as you can see in this race, just how unforgiving Chicago's street circuit is, it can all be over by one tiny little mistake. It gets rather repetitive for the figure 8 style track. The quarters start to look very similar, so you do have to stay very focused. Remember just where you were. Very much for most street tracks, even just in our previous round for round 3 of Project Cars 2, but towards the end of the race, a few drivers missing corners just because of that repetition getting to you. I think Brett Andrews just made some wall contact. It's really dropped that gap down now. Connor Nixon is 1.7 seconds away. Going to take his one mistake. It looks like that back right's taken a hit. I think the wing's looking a little bit rough. Connor's car seeming to have a few little skips down that back straight. There are a fair few undulations. Jeez. Turn my mic up now, so you should be able to hear me a bit better now, cool boy. We're just having issues at the start of the stream with the microphone not working whatsoever, so we did actually miss the practice and most of the qualifying session, unfortunately. I think Brett Andrews may be suffering with a little bit of speed at this stage. Connor Nixon also seeming to drop off. Some track temperatures increased by a few degrees. It's very tight on that wall. It's trying to catch up to Brett Andrews. I think Brett does have a slightly damaged car. Bruce Robinson's just made a mistake on the final corner. He's going to bring that straight into the pits. That was very fortunate for it to happen right at pit entry. Sad that it happened, but couldn't have been a more convenient place for it to occur. He's not going to have a lengthy lap trying to get that car around. Aaron Maguire's trying to close in on Adrian Simpson. He's about 2 seconds behind. Oh, that's awesome. Audio levels are much better now. Thank you, guys. Sebastian making some wall contact. Bruce using that quick repair, getting back out on track. Connor Nixon missing that front left quarter panel. Still managing to hold a similar gap between himself and Brett. There's 12.5 minutes remaining. So we're currently on lap 18. Matt Hardigan did retire out, did take that heavy damage and have to require a tow very early on. We'll make our way through the list. Oh, there's a little bit of spacing going on, so we have Justin Haitley currently running 16th. Oh, making the same mistake we saw Bruce just before. But he managed to shave off a lot more speed before hitting that tyre wall. Kellen Hodgkinson, yes, in position 15. Robbie Bradbury in 14th. Blake Urquhart in 13th position. Just showing the blue flag. He's just made some more contact. Tony Phillips running in 12th position. Stephen Banks in 11th position. He was up in 5th before taking that critical damage requiring a tow. It may have been a lengthy time to be able to tow it. If he did splash some fuel in at that time, he should be able to stay out on track for a little while. We have Sebastian Varndale currently running in 10th position. Just up ahead is Bruce Robinson. Only 1.7 seconds separating himself from Sebastian. Mattis area in position 8. Aaron Maguire in 7th. He's got 4 seconds to close in on Adrian Simpson. Aiden Ford just only a few seconds ahead of Adrian. Steve Denby in 4th position. Greg Salon back up into 3rd, doing very well, considering he had to go for that very early pit to tend to some damage after leading the race for the first 4 laps, and then having to pit on the 5th lap. And he has already been in and taken fuel, so he should have enough fuel to get through scraping that wall. Could very well see some possibility for some drive-throughs, as we could be seeing a ×1 for all these minor scrapes after 17 contacts. In total, it'll be a drive-through penalty. Keep our way through. We have Connor Nixon in 2nd position, and Brett Andrews leading the way. It's currently on lap 20. Brett has led for 7 laps, Steve Denby led for 9, and Greg led for 4 of those. Yeah, Aussie, that's it. Definitely a commentator's curse. Could definitely cause some dramas for him. You jump on board, I think with Steve Denby earlier, with a hot lap, and it was actually quite a quick lap, so I was actually very lucky we didn't make him bin it. I think that's Justin Haitley. He's still hanging tight in behind Brett Andrews. So he is 2 laps down, but he's managing to keep race pace at this stage. We did see him have to take in a tow very early. So you can see our race leader just ahead. On board. Justin. How tight these corners are. Just how bumpy this track is. So you gotta really play cautious with the throttle. You get lots of skips. Still way out ahead, 5.1 seconds over P2. Nixon starting to drop back. But I think that damage may be playing some issues with that. His speed is about 2 seconds slower than that of Brett's. Greg Salon currently 11 seconds behind Connor Nixon. However, his laps are about 2.7 seconds quicker each lap. With just under 7 minutes remaining, he could easily close that gap down. Looks like probably Bradbury just up ahead. Actually short in his car, that is. Let's see if there's any battles going on. Chicago has spaced out a fair bit. Now 22 laps in. Sebastian Vandel just having to pit. He called in the tow by the looks of it. Looks like he took some engine damage. Might go back and just see what went on with Sebastian. So he's parked up for quite a while. Oh, a little bit of understeer. That was a solid hit, so 2 wall hits. Very costly. Unfortunate for Sebastian. It doesn't take much of an error. Tiniest little bit offline can easily put you into the wall just like that. Especially 35 minutes into a race. Brett Andrews having a fantastic lead at this point. He's got 9.5 seconds. As I just said, it could all go very badly at any time. Needs to stay heavily focused in these remaining 5 minutes. Greg Sloan still making his way through. So he got 3 seconds to catch up now. Connor Nixon just had to go into the pits. I think he's contending with some damage. Not sure if that was a requirement. That's allowed Greg to now move up. See how quick this pit stop is. Not sure if that was actually tyres. That was a very quick stop. That's Tony Phillips just ahead of him. He's currently a lap down. So that's position 10. So blue flag will be shown, so you'll need to get around. So things are looking well for Steve Denby. Now moves him up into P3. He's a couple of positions ahead of Aiden Ford. It's these two that are really contesting. There's only 20 points difference between them in the championship standings. Bruce Robinson just making a solid hit, another tow. There's 3 minutes remaining now. So we should only see a couple more laps. Ball scrape around the apex and on the corner exit by the sounds of it for Steve. His car, I think Bruce just retired his car out. Sebastian currently running in 16th. Looking to unlap himself. I think that's Aaron Maguire just ahead of him. And Lieutenant Racing for position. Aaron's currently in 6th. Aaron may just pay heed to let Sebastian through. Sebastian's probably out there on some fresh rubber, so having a little bit more pace than Aaron at this stage. There's no point getting caught up with a lapped car. If Aaron can keep going, finishing 6th would be a fantastic result still. Just about 10 seconds between himself and Aiden Ford. Maybe tricky to try and catch that up with only a minute and a half remaining. Brett Andrews gets it back into the pits again. It was much longer time, so I'm not sure if that was for tyres or fuel. Maybe he did not fuel up enough. Well, Greg's just made contact. Well, Brett just put it into the wall quite heavily. So he's now side by side with Connor Nixon. These cars are probably well and truly worn out, as well as the drivers. 39 minutes around Chicago streets circuit is going to be mentally and physically fatiguing them. So Greg Salon, after having to go into pits on lap 4 and dropping down towards the back, now taking the race lead with only 40 seconds remaining. This could very well be the last lap, as it is time-based. If it doesn't cross the finish line before the timer goes down, it will actually just call last lap and then immediately give the checkers. But he's got a 4.2 second gap between himself and Steve Denby, so white flag shown. So not even able to really slow the car down to try and force the white flag situation a little bit earlier, as we would have lost that position straight to Steve Denby. Brett Andrews hanging on tight in behind Steve. And there go the Falcon unit. Falcons doing well out ahead. It's Falcon followed by the 2 Commodores. And Greg does have some damage. He's slowing down. He's losing a lot of pace. I'm not sure what's going on with this car. I think he may be conserving fuel. He's probably run out of fuel. So he loses the position. I think he's out of fuel. Not sure if they're on the radio to each other here, if they're going to let him. I think they're going to give him the finish. Maybe looking to try and help push him through. Not sure what's going on. We're on approach to the final corner. This little, just crossing the line. Look at that, beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4 for the guys. Well done to them. I think there may have been some time stuff that was going on. So Greg Salon takes the win, followed by Steve Denby and Brett Andrews. So a few victory burnouts going on there. So we'll bring up the result screen now. Yeah. Lots of burnouts going on there. Steve Denby takes the victory. And then we have Greg Salon also on the podium, followed by Brett Andrews in third, then Connor Nixon, Aidan Ford, Adrian Simpson, Aaron Maguire, Matt Tesserio, Stephen Banks, Tony Phillips, Kellen Hodgkinson, Robbie Bradbury, Blake Urquhart, Justin Haley, Sebastian Varndell, Bruce Robinson, and Matt Hardigan. And we'll jump over into Discord and then hopefully be able to interview the podium. They've been a little bit shy as of late, and I do actually have to load up Discord as I did not know if that was actually causing me the drums with my mic earlier on. So hopefully my mic does continue to stay working as we bring the guys over. So if you have any questions for them, to throw it in the chat. So I usually have my Discord all loaded up, ready to go for this. So we've got Connor Nixon in the chat, but we might jump on and let him have a talk. Hello Connor, how are you going?
Yeah, good,
so
mate.
We didn't get the podium, the crossover live with you, so we thought we'd catch you there.
Yeah, I didn't really mind not getting a podium. Good victory for Pixel, and yeah, just be that dude that gets some points, and yeah.
Yeah, still good finishing position and great drive. There were not too many incidents going around there. A fair few drivers taking critical damage, so it's just very tight corners around Chicago.
Yeah, tight corners, but absolutely love the racetrack. Team loves the racetrack as well. Awesome racetrack. We had a couple of scrapes on the wall and little, the mirrors would come off, but it was a good race.
Yeah, that's it. Just a little bit of weight reduction.
Oh, 100%, mate.
Don't need those mirrors anyway.
Nah, don't need them.
Yeah, so it's going to be exciting heading into the final round next week with Bathurst as well. So it's going to be great seeing the old Gen Falcon and Commodores battling it out around the mountain.
Oh, 100%. We're all ready for that one, our team, and we should be pretty competitive for that one. So yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, look forward to seeing it. Thanks, Connor.
All good, bros. Have a good one.
There we have Connor Nixon, who finished in 4th place. And then, of course, we're mentioning next week is the final round. So over to Bathurst Mount Panorama. It's going to be spectacular. So 40 minutes around the mountain. It'll be very tight racing. Hopefully we get a great large field again and then see some good iconic battles between Holden and Ford. So if you haven't done so yet, be sure to hit that follow button so you can be notified when we go live with that final round. And if you want some more V8s, we are live again on Thursday night at 7:30 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Time with the Pagnian Imports V8 Supercar Championship on Project Cars 2. So thanks for tuning in and see you trackside next time.